What's going on, people? It is Irish Connor HD here. You can call me Irish, and today I thought I would show you guys my new updated setup. I've done a couple of setup videos in the past. I've did my kind of old room, air quotes, where it was still the room that I'm in, but it was kind of like before I'd painted it and before I'd rearranged everything, and I had like my old horrible crappy desk and stuff like that. Then I did an update where I showed you my new desk, my speakers, my monitors, and all that kind of stuff. This one is basically the same, except that I've kind of done some cable management and I've acquired two new major things and a mouse pad. So it's not terribly different, but what you're going to be seeing, obviously, in the video as you're watching it here, is that I've gotten myself a Logitech G920 as opposed to the Microsoft racing wheel that I had in the past. And I've upgraded from my eMachines 18-inch 1366 by 768 60 hertz monitor, like really poor, which I'm still using as my secondary monitor now. I'll go into that. I've now upgraded to a BenQ XL 2430T, and I love it. Basically, it's kind of like I'm like really pretty much like 99% there to my ideal setup. So yeah, I thought I would just talk about what I got. So starting off, since I've got the most experience with it, since I've had it longer, I'll talk about the G920. It's an amazing wheel. It's really, really, really good. It's an updated G27. So the G27 replaced the G25 from Logitech. The G27 just brought some kind of upgrades to the kind of the wheel that Logitech offered. And then the G920 and the G27, where basically the difference, if you don't know, is the G920 is for the Xbox One and the PC. The G29 is for the PC and Xbox, and the PS4. So yeah, it's a really, really nice wheel. The force feedback in it is great. The rumble is great. I play it with two games mainly. I play it with Project Cars and Assetto Corsa. Obviously, you've seen a bit of Assetto Corsa on my channel, and for that game in particular, if you're looking for a nice, relatively cheap kind of without going too crazy wheel, and if you're looking for a really good kind of drifting in particular is great, but also then the racing and stuff like that, and the mod ability is outstanding in Assetto Corsa. I own Project Cars. I own one of the older Formula 1 games. I can't remember which year it is. I think it's 2014 on the Xbox. And I own Dirt Rally. With Assetto Cars, I get to have all three of those games in one game for free, because they're all like there's a heap of tracks and car mods and all with great physics, great graphics and all that and they're all mods, so they're all free. So yeah, the wheel works flawlessly with that. As I mentioned in one of my older videos, I spent a long time in R Factor, and it was kind of it just didn't feel right. I could feel force feedback, I could feel it was working, but it just didn't feel right, and I didn't understand why. And I was worried if it was a problem with the wheel, whether Logitech needed to kind of update the wheel or something like that. And it turns out it is, and it isn't that issue. Basically, it's that Logitech and R Factor, they just don't, like the G920 and R Factor just don't mesh well. There is force feedback, but it's not full. The biggest problem that I was having was that the wheel wasn't counter steering when the weight was shifting, and I have to say, in Assetto Corsa, that's fixed. It doesn't that's exactly what happens when the wheel shifts. When the weight shifts, the wheel counter steers. It spins back the other way. Maybe not ideally as fast as I would like. Like, I still have to do a lot of kind of work to try and to make it work. But with some of the cars in particular from the Titan mod, and like the SP mod, a lot of the cars in the SP mod are fantastic. The wheel is incredible. So yeah, I have to say it's a really nice wheel. It feels like quality. The flappy paddle shifters are heavy steel. So as I said, I came from the Microsoft Xbox wheel. The flappy paddles on that were just kind of cheap plastic that would click in with this kind of like light click kind of thing. Or with this kind of heavy click. Actually, it was really heavy and not very pleasant. With the G920, the shifters are heavy. There's like a nice kind of light but satisfying click where you know that you've pressed it, and it just makes off this nice clicky noise. So yeah, it's really good. My biggest complaint about it, as I mentioned in one of my Assetto Corsa videos, my biggest complaint with it is the brake pedal. Now, I know that they were going for authenticity with the brake pedal, but whereas the accelerator is very like nice and it works, and the brake or the clutch is very nice and it goes in, the brake pedal is very, very heavy. Again, repeating myself if you watch that video, but basically Logitech said that they intended that the first 20% of pressure is going to be nice and smooth, and then the rest of the next 80% will be very firm and hard. And if you're in a cockpit setup, that's fantastic. It I'm sure it feels great and very realistic. But for me personally, and I think it's the case for a lot of people that game at their PCs, that can't afford or that don't have the space for a cockpit like myself, we sit in caster wheelchairs, and the downside to that is when you're putting a shitload basically of force down on the brake pedal, you roll away from the desk. Like, you literally roll away from the desk. So it's kind of a thing where I have to grip onto the wheel, pull in. Now my desk with all the stuff on it is very heavy, so I can afford to be able to pull into the wheel as I push the pedal down to stop me from rolling away. But if there was some way of modding it so I had just a little bit less resistance, I'd quite like that about the brake pedal. The shifter, there you go. Yeah, that's me like messing with the shifter. The shifter's very nice. I have problems now. I'm assuming that's just me being used to, or like not being used to it and needing to adjust to it. It can kind of not go into gear, kind of like if you don't put enough force onto it, it will occasionally not go into gear, and that can be kind of frustrating. But yeah, that's basically my review of the Logitech G920. There's nothing else really I can say. They clamp to my desk very, very well. The clamping kind of adjustments thing where you squeeze it and then you push it down and lock it down, like lock the clamps down into kind of their lower position. Very, very good. Keeps them out of the way. The cabling, again, plenty of length. And yeah, just all around really good. So that's your G920. That's the major edition. Then the BenQ, which is the other major edition. The BenQ, what's it, XL2430T. So there's a couple of different models that I was looking at. But yeah, I got the XL2430T. It's a 24-inch monitor, which, as you can see from the video, is a massive step up. I know a lot of people probably already had like 1080p 24-inch monitors, so this isn't going to seem mind-blowing to you guys if you've had this already. But I'm coming from I think it was an 18.5-inch 1366 by 768 monitor. So basically not even 1080p. And it's just, the difference is enormous. Now, out of the box, like all the reviews like that I read on TN panels, which this is, again, if you don't know the difference between monitors with TN panels, IPS and that kind of thing, look into it. But basically, TN panels, they have fast refresh rates, fast response times, but the colors aren't that great. That's like the kind of general standard. Whereas IPS monitors, also TN panels are cheaper. IPS panels tend to be a bit more expensive. But they have much better, they have really, really good, like the good IPS panels have like really good color reproduction, but they have slower response time, so they'd be like more along the kind of 3, 4, 5 millisecond time, and their refresh rate, you get very, very expensive when you're trying to look for a fast refresh rate at IPS panel, and they usually are in kind of 1440p or 4K resolution. So for me, I was looking for, first of all, the refresh rate and the kind of the response time were the initial things that I was looking for. I'm fine going from 768 to 1080p is fine with me. Like that's grand. I wasn't looking for a 1440p monitor by any means, or a 4K for that matter. The way I see it is, if I want better resolution, I can use DSR. That's just my reasoning. I have an NVIDIA GTX 970, so it's like the best card in its class for 1080p gaming, according to a lot of respectable sources. The 970 is basically the best in its class for 1080p, and I'm fine with that. Again, being stuck on 720 more or less for all this time, just a step up to 1080p on its own is good enough for me at the minute. Going back to the colors though, the color reproduction out of the box, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of like this monitor compared to something like the Asus VG24QE, I think was the one that I was looking at. All the reviews pointed towards this monitor being better out of the box, but still needs some calibration. And again, without testing the Asus, I have to say that's correct. When I first loaded it up, it was very, very bright, very not very washed out, but like pretty bright, not as much contrast and kind of darkness as I would have liked. So again, there's buttons on the front of the screen. There's many levels of adjustability. And once I got into that and kind of messed around with that, I got it to basically where I liked it to be. And I have to say, I'm very happy with it. It looks fantastic. There's no light bleed. Like, I don't want to say no, I'm not an expert. I haven't looked at all the best monitors out there that have no light bleed. But from what I can see, it's like nicely evenly lit. It arrived packaged lovely. The box was fantastic. It came with the DVI cable that I needed for the 144 Hz. I've played it with Battlefield 4 at 144 Hz. I played it with CSGO a little bit at 144 Hz against bots because I don't play CSGO and I'm terrible at it. But I messed around with it at 144 Hz in CSGO and it was very smooth. Again, Assetto Corsa, I played with that. FIFA, that kind of thing. It all works. It all looks great. And yeah, it's just I'm really happy with it. The main thing that I was looking for was fastest the fastest refresh rate, the fastest response time, and basically just a bigger monitor. Like it could, like I was looking at some basic I was looking literally at 1080p 60 Hz monitors for a while because I just wanted something that was bigger than the monitor that I had, because I'd been taking a lend of my sister's monitor and messing around with that, and I just basically realized that I was getting the short end of the stick when I was playing a lot of these games on an 18-inch monitor. So it's fantastic to have the big screen, and then obviously, as you've seen in the intro clips, that I now have replaced the 4x3 crappy Dell monitor that I had as my second monitor. I now have my old eMachines 3066 by 768 16:9 monitor as my second one. And I'm really just, it's one of those things where it's like I created a list when I started back working. I created a list of the things that I wanted, the same way that I did, and I think I mentioned it at this, like when I did my last setup video. I created a list of things that I wanted. I worked for them. I got them, and it's one of those things, like one of those pride things, where it's just like, yeah, I achieved that. That's amazing. Like I didn't actually think I'd ever be able to get a lot of the stuff that I've been able to get. But again, that's just like a kind of side note thing. So I'm going to wrap it up there because I think it's gone along a little bit longer than I wanted. How long are we now? Yeah, just over 12 minutes. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a thumbs up. Again, not showing off, not trying to be like, hey, look at all the cool things that I can buy. It's just whenever I upgrade whenever I upgrade my specs and stuff like that, I like to keep you guys informed because I've done it before and I just like to continue that trend. And it's a video. Here's a video for the channel. Yay! But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching and goodbye.